Can we have another round of applause, please, for Jimmy Lester and Getting Naked? And can I have on the stage with me, please, Jimmy Lester, Frank Green, Chandra Silver, Meg Reticker, Giancarlo Vulcano. Also, our performers, Hazel Honeysuckle, Darlinda Just Darlinda, Gal Friday, Minnie Tonka. You guys aren't shy. Come on up. And Jezebel Express, please.
There's probably some other people. James Habacker, if you want to come up. And there's anyway. There might be if we haven't called you up and you're in this movie, you definitely should come up.
Come on down this way.
Look at all these amazing people. Look at all these amazing people.
Oh my God.
I want to see them.
Wow, you guys look great. I'm definitely underdressed here, or overdressed. Anyway, so we'll start with the obvious question. How did you come to do this film, and how did you meet these amazing performers?
I was trying to do a little scripted series, which actually we did a friend of mine, Jesse Gelber. I don't know if he's in here. Is Jesse in here? Jesse, come up here. Jesse Gelber has done some of the music for the film, and he's a good friend. And he and I were doing some scripted series, and he's part of that whole world. And we had a burlesque performer in each little webisode, and that ran out, and that finished, and I was bored and grabbed a camera and started to go and do some shooting at these shows. Just jump up, Jesse. Yeah, this is Jesse Gelber. He's amazing. And so I was just running around, and I started filming some of these amazing performers, and I didn't know really what I was doing and what I was getting into, and eventually I decided, let's make a movie. And I didn't really know I had anything that would become a movie until Gal cut her hair. So thanks for that. And I did it for you. Thanks, Gal. But it was pretty simple. I was just kind of fell into it and didn't really know what I would find.
Great. It was a really wonderful film from the performances, but also I think that thing that really made it sing was the intimacy and the inside story you got out of some of these performers. Even so far as that, the moms were involved. Mom Just Mom and Mama Tonka. I love those names. So to the performers, what was it like having Jimmy follow you around for, how long was it, 5 years?
It's been
6
5
years.
or 6 years, right?
Yeah, what was it like having...
Well, let's start with, should I just pass
What was it like? Didn't really affect me at all. Jimmy knows, like I remember specifically one time Jimmy came over and I said, yeah, you can totally film me and when Sebastian and I lived together at the time. You can film us doing our normal thing. Just don't interrupt my fucking show. And that was it. So like Jimmy would just sit and film, and I remember him trying to ask me questions, and I'm like, is this it? Netflix is on.
Oh, your TV show.
Oh yeah, my TV show.
Your TV show.
Don't mess with Mama's stories. But jokes aside, through the process, the way that Jimmy approached me, asking me if he could film in the first place, it was just so polite. And I told him this before when we were in Venice. He came up to me and asked if he could film or take pictures. I think you were filming during the first show when we were at Beaumarchais. And I was like, yeah, just don't get in my way. Just don't let me see you. And I never saw him. And he was so polite, and he was so respectful of us as artists. Backstage, he didn't linger, he didn't creep, and you got to understand, that's very rare. So when he asked me if he could follow around and take pictures for this, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, you seem cool. So, and we've become pals. And I love his wife, and she's going to leave him for me. Facts upon facts.
Let's see, I don't know. Jimmy came up to me, I think, at the Slipper Room, right? Is that where? Yeah.
You can go with that.
I don't know. I have terrible memory, and
I think you were in one of the film with Jesse and me.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how we
That was how I met.
Yeah.
Okay. It was weird having film crews in my house. You never realize how messy a place is until someone comes over. And I was like, okay, but don't film this part, and don't film this part or that part. But you can tell how messy my house is anyway. No, it was really cool having him ask me all these questions about things I hadn't really thought about, and kind of as I was answering the questions, I was figuring things out about myself and my brain, and so there's just a lot of things in there that I kind of didn't realize until they came out of my mouth. It was really, really cool though. Yeah.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. I'm Minnie Tonka, and it was hard. It was hard. Jimmy knows it was hard. I love Jimmy so much. And we met December 2011, and he started filming me then. And honestly, it was hard to be open and vulnerable, and we battled. Hence, that's why I cried a lot in the film. But I'm grateful to Jimmy and to all of my community for the love and support, and just opening up and sharing what it's like to live with chronic pain and an autoimmune disease, and to heal and be on this journey of helping myself and helping others to open up and share. So thank you so much.
Yeah, Jimmy, thank you so much. This is it's a really big fucking deal, and I'm really proud of you as your friend and as a coworker. I don't know. I guess we don't work together. We worked on something together. I don't remember how it happened, but you filmed me once. I think it was Champagne Riot at below Indochine, whatever that cool place was called, Tango House, and. All I remember is that when you were like, I want to make a documentary, I wasn't like, yeah, right. Because any burlesque performers out there have been performing longer than 10 years have had numerous people like, we're going to make a book. We're going to make a documentary. And most of the time you're like, yeah, right. Like, let's see it happen. And this happened. And I knew it was going to happen. So, you have like, I don't know, you have a history of doing great film work, so you can just like Google him and you're like, oh, okay, he's a real deal. So so that's how we connected. And I also I just feel like it's really interesting. Like, we're on camera, we're on stage, we're in the public eye all the time, and being in a documentary is so different, because it's not like, oh, there's that character that you're playing, or there's that costume and that look and that song and that piece of performance art. It's your life, and it's really hard. It's a real number on the ego, but it's also fucking amazing, and it's really great to see an art form that you've worked on for so long kind of be honored in a way. Like, yeah, you matter, this matters, and I just want to say to all of you performers out there here on the stage that it matters. What we do matters. We need entertainment. The world fucking sucks right now, and we need entertainment. Like, people need to like pay their fucking $20 to come see us, and which is cheap now, right? Isn't that weird? Remember it was $5? But they need to just come see us, and they need entertainment, because there's none of this like chemistry, you know what I mean? So I feel like this film really shows that, and I'm really honored to be part of it. So thank you.
I'll say something short because my part's short. I know Jimmy through Jesse. Actually, we worked on the same web series that Hazel was in. They needed someone to overact, and I can do that. You know. But echoing Darlinda, like, it was so lovely to have someone want to make a documentary about burlesque and really feel like they understood and that they were going to treat what we do not as like a spectacle that's they've never seen anything like it, but to really understand like what our lives are like. And I feel like you see that in the film. So Jimmy got to follow me around for a while, and I was unable to perform for a few years in the middle of the filming, but we had great conversations, and I was I feel so fortunate that you got to put my perspective on stage, and I feel like you did a great job of showing a lot of the different paths that we go through. So thank you so much, and thank you guys for coming out and seeing this, because, right? Back that way.
So, Jimmy, what did you learn during the course of making this film? What did you learn about burlesque that you didn't know before?
Well, I guess what I learned was, I learned so much, and you guys taught me, and like I was saying earlier when I stood up here before the film, the whole burlesque community, whether they knew it or they didn't know it, taught me. And I guess the basics is that I learned that there's this kind of spectrum that is there between neo-burlesque, quote unquote, and classic burlesque. But I also learned that, when I first started, and I learned that from you guys, that was something in my head that was not like that. Those two things aren't diametrically opposed, and there's all this room in between for all of this type of expression and performance, and it can just sort of go any way it goes, as you see with Gal's work, and you see with Hazel's work, and you see with Minnie and Darlinda, and you see with Jezebel. But the biggest thing that I got out of doing this film was just learning about the journeys of burlesque performers as artists, that this is a real craft and a real art that they do, and it's something that they bust their asses doing, and it's something that they don't make a lot of money doing, and so the more and more I learned that, then I was like, oh, this is super interesting, because the people that I found are like these brilliant, amazing women that you just want to hang around with, and you want to learn about their lives, and you want to go on their journey. And I'm really, talk about being honored that you guys let me stick with you for all those years, because if we didn't do it that way, we would have had, like Darlinda said, just sort of that boilerplate spectacle movie. And I think what we did get out of this, whether you like the movie or you don't like the movie, I don't think you can argue that you don't see a journey of these women. So that's really what I learned from doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really came across. Your husband said, Hazel Honeysuckle, you guys have this rarefied skill set. You're creative, you sew, you're athletic, you're sexy, you're glamorous. And mostly I think you're really just generous, and I really appreciate how much you give in your performances.
Can I just acknowledge it?
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of people standing up here, and maybe not everyone who worked on this movie is standing up here because you saw that long list of credits, but I just want to acknowledge some amazing people that I've had to work on this film with me. You could not do it on my own. My producer, Frank Hall Green, who's down there. My executive producer, Chandra Silver, she's amazing. Jay Lifton, who wrote the songs. He specifically wrote the Schlep Sisters song. And my consulting editor, Meg Reticker, can you raise your hand? There you go. Because Meg really saved this film for me, and I'm so indebted to her. And last but not least, Giancarlo Vulcano, who did the original score. And this movie was just, the music for me really tied it. Also, I see Mitch Blummer. Can you just raise your hand? He did some of the cinematography that's so brilliant. So thank you all for working on this movie.
So I'm going to open it up to questions. Does anyone have any questions, comments, compliments? Come on.
Just takes one.
As Hazel
Someone's got a question.
There you go.
912. Exactly.
So the question was, why did you pick these performers specifically?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I started out, I definitely I interviewed a lot of people, and as you can see, the people that we're focused on were essentially Gal, Hazel, Minnie, and Darlinda. Even though Jezebel is a featured performer in it, and Pearl's a featured performer in it, and Julia Atlas Muse has her little bit, and James Habecker has his bit. But I think what ended up happening was twofold. One was just kind of the realistic logistics, like Jezebel said. I mean, I was emailing Jezebel like every week, being like, "Can we film? Can we film? Can we film?" And it just didn't work out that way. But in a way, it worked out perfectly because Jezebel is like an essayist, in my opinion. She's an intellectual, and to have her give that 3 minutes, really packs a punch, and she really makes a statement in what she's talking about. But ultimately, I do think that the characters that I chose, I do think just in my heart I knew, like I said, with Gal, when she cut her hair and then did that new performance, there's a story there. There's a real story there. With Minnie, the fact that she was going through all of these issues with her body, there's a story there. There's struggle. And so everyone that I stuck with, I think, just had a real kind of arc to their story. And then, so I think, for me, it worked out the way it should work out, because if they stuck with me, I think they had something that was there. So.
Anyone else? All right, fine. I have a question. Okay.
So, Jimmy, if you were to film a sequel to Getting Naked, where do you see burlesque going from here, and/or where would you like to see it go?
Getting dressed?
Yeah, Gal just said getting dressed. I think I've had my fill of burlesque documentaries. I love them. I love you guys, but I think this is it. If I did do a follow-up, it would be probably on some other kind of nightlife New York thing. But honestly, I don't want to answer that question of like where it's going, because I ask these guys that same question all the time and they never would answer me. So if I answer it, I look like kind of a know-it-all. So.
Anyone? Okay.
Well, just a thank you to make this documentary. I think sometimes burlesque, I don't know what to call it, dancing, or it's an art. It doesn't get too much attention. I'm a big fan of the Sleeper Room. I've seen some of these ladies perform there. And I'm originally from Guatemala, and this type of things don't happen there because it's a very close-minded country. And whenever someone comes to visit me, I always take them to the Sleeper Room, and they are just like fascinated, and it's like we don't get to see this. And it's just thank you for doing the documentary, and to you ladies, it's a beautiful art, and I really, really, I love it, and congratulations.
Thank you. Congrats, guys.
That's Lou, our very hardworking documentary, Doc NYC photographer. So I have a question. What are some of your, maybe your favorite or your most outrageous act?
That they do.
Yeah, that you're most proud of or you're working on, or
I'm going to think about this one for a second. Outrageous or most proud of?
Okay, well, there's this tiny clip of me with a little, like, sleeping bag man that...
When's the
Yeah,
last time you did that?
well, he fell apart. Okay, so I made this act. It's one of the classic burlesque kind of tropes is a half and half act. Like Little Brooklyn with her gorilla. And so I have this one where I have a sleeping bag man that I dream up, and we get together, but I don't because I'm just like some little girl figuring out like what to do with her lady parts, and I named him Billy Zane after my first crush from Demon Knight. Does anyone remember that one? It- that was a big thing to me because it was really scary to put something on stage that was about my sexuality, and I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't as fancy. No rhinestones.
What's the question?
Your favorite or your most outrageous act?
I've been doing, like I said earlier, the world's fucked up, in case you didn't know. And I've been doing a lot of, like, comments on the fucked upness of the world. So I have, like, 2 new acts that I'm really excited about. And one of them is, if the world ended, it's sort of like, and I got the disease that we all die of, I would, like, break into a theater and die on stage. So I do that. And then I have a new Me Too act, so that's fun. But it was actually, I did it actually at the Slipper Room on Saturday night and Friday night, and it was really met with a lot of applause, and it was really powerful to be able to get to do something that is unfortunately topical. But our Schlep sisters, we're having fun just getting to perform together. I feel like after we're going to have our 11th annual Menorah Hora, I just feel like it's just like fun. We're just having a good time with all the stuff that we're doing. Right, Tonka?
Yes. Yes.
I have, so it's funny to be in the film going, I've been doing this for 6 years, and at this point I've been doing this 11 years. So that's dated. My hair has changed. Hello. Lately, I'm still in that weird transition of looking for other things in my life. I love performing, but burlesque is not the fulfillment that it was for me when I started, to be perfectly honest. Again, still love it, still love performing. There's nothing better than inviting an audience to be with you when you're on stage in that moment. But, I got to do stuff for me, too. And so lately, I've been collaborating more. Where's Cheeky? Where you at, bro? Dude. What's up, bro? I've been very blessed to work a lot with this incredible performer, Cheeky Lane. If you don't know her, get the fuck on it. That's all I'm saying. But she helped me do a new number, which I'll probably never do again, because lately I have these spurts where I'm creating something, I get it out of my body once, and I'm like, bye, you'll never see it again. And, but yeah, just taking this second to publicly thank you for really opening me up more as an artist. Again, a big part of like the journey is not only discovering who you are as an artist, but also getting rid of the fear that starts to come with it. You get this expectation, I think, when you're a performer and you get to a certain place, like, well, Gal Friday only does classics, she can't fuck up. And it's like, yeah, I'm ready to fuck up. I'm ready to kind of let go a little bit. And so to be able to collaborate with other performers and to create something that might not be beautiful on stage, but it means something to me, that was big for me this year, ironically, at the New York Festival. So thanks, bro. And yeah, I guess that's been my big stuff lately, is just sort of letting go.
Great. Jezebel, did you give us one? Do you have one?
Well, I guess I looked at this and it was funny because I was like, oh, I do still mostly do classic acts, but lately I've been working on some stuff that's more overtly political, and I've been really excited about it. So I've been working on this thing where I wear a fat suit, and then I strip out of it, and I'm still fat. And the audience has feelings about it, as you might imagine. It's very dramatic. It's like 7 minutes long, and there's a minute of silence in the middle. So, yeah, so if you want it, you can come see that at the Slipper Room. They're the only ones that will put that on stage. And that's what I'm doing that I guess I'm excited about right now. Yes. Well.
Okay, I think that's all we have time for tonight. If you could thank. Oh, I'm
One
sorry.
more acknowledgement.
One more for Jimmy.
One more. My beautiful wife, Amanda Navarro, who, when I was in my darkest moment with the film, and I was gonna go out to Vegas to film the final Schlep's act and Hazel, and I had no money, and it was all the credit card and blah, blah, blah. My wife said, "You are putting it on the credit card, and you are going to Vegas to film those strippers." Stand up, stand up. Love you.
Okay, so thank you very much. As I said before, it's playing again on the 16th. I don't know what day that is. Thursday at 9:45 downtown on 6th Avenue and West 4th Street at the IFC Center. Please come out and bring your friends. Thanks.
Thanks for coming, everyone.